Congratulations, you guys. Happy New Year. This is our first Bren Harris podcast in 2026, and I am so glad you are here. Imagine, if you will, you meet someone amazing, you fall totally in love, and then you find out this isn't exactly what I signed up for. Tonight, we have an amazing, amazing guest. And I'm telling you, you do not want to miss this. If you know anyone that wants to learn more about being able to spot toxic love and heal, this is the podcast for you. So we are streaming across Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And I want you to know I don't have all the answers, but I do know that higher power does. Now, my name is Bren Harris, and I founded The Warrior Nation when my son was medically injured at just 22 months of age. He was a tiny little baby. And I'm telling you, I have learned to say, who says? What's the workaround? In the last 15 plus years, we have walked straight through hell. Now we take water back to those still in the fire. Because hear me, warriors, I see you, I hear you, you belong right here, and you are valuable. You are not alone. And we are here to talk about that tonight. So I'm going to take you back in the Wayback Machine just for a few moments. I will not steal our beautiful guest's thunder. This is how Warrior Mom started. When my son was born in 2008, within that year, we moved from southern Japan to the States. And in the military, they call this PCS, Permanent Change of Station. And we stayed with an older relative while we were house hunting. And I'm telling you, this kitchen, not updated since the 70s, but this is exactly how the Warrior Mom started. I've got baby Zach. I've got my English pottery with my cup of coffee and my MacBook there. And I was online because in Japan, nursing your child is just completely like breathing. It is not taboo. They don't even wear a cover. It's just beautiful. They celebrate the mother. And when we came back to the States, women were being shamed for doing this. And I think something really just ignited in me. And I was so offended that moms were being shamed. And I think right then, I didn't know it then, right at that moment is when the Warrior Nation and Warrior Moms by Bren was birthed. Now, if you're just joining us, please let us know in the chat where you're chiming in from. And I'll be straight with you. Just because we carry it well doesn't mean it isn't heavy. Hear me, warriors. Just because moms carry it well doesn't mean life isn't heavy. We've learned that a rising tide lifts all boats, and we can get to choose to love to say, what is this trying to teach me? Instead of why is this happening to me? So, hey guys, great to see you, YouTube. Great to see you. Hey, great to see you on Instagram. And we have Seattle in the house, North Carolina, South Carolina, Dallas, Texas, Houston, Texas, and Seattle. So great to see you guys. And I'm really glad you're here because I believe that you are called for such a time as this. There's never been a time in history when women were called at the level we are called right now. Now, I have a book coming out and that just came out rather and hit #1. And I want to make sure that you know what that book is. Real quick, just a few months ago, my son and I do natural detox trips out of state. We work with a certified nutritionist. And this is baby Zach now. And you can see him. He towers over me. And he is such a great road tripper. You can see in that picture, he has the big ear defenders on. Now we do the loops, and everyone thinks he has this part of his ear, like right here, pierced because it's a little gold loop. And what that is that helps with sensory processing. And the sensory processing is when things are too loud, he can get really overwhelmed and unpleasant. I say that with the love of a mother. And now he gets to wear these little loops and he gets to feel cool. And so I just want you to know that I see you, I hear you, and you are not alone. Now, thank you to everyone who voted on the best-selling author picture. I'm a firm believer that our words have power. I mean, 7 or 8 months before we launched the book, I was saying, please get ready. We're going to vote on the best-selling author picture. And this is the one you guys chose by a landslide. Thank you so much. And I realized, I don't have a whole team doing my hair and makeup tonight, but thank you, thank you, thank you. And the main book is called The Major and the Musician. And I want you to know it's set on the island of Okinawa in southern Japan. And this is a love story of epic proportion. It is also a treasure hunt. If Indiana Jones and Laura Croft got together and found a treasure in southern Japan on a tropical island, which is kind of a miniature Hawaii, that's how the story rolls. And we do a chapter of mystery. And then at the end, we have a lesson for the warrior mom. And that's where the warrior mom journal came in. And this is what we're going to talk about tonight. This is not the journal where you say, oh, it was balmy in 75 and I wore my gray sweater and my pink skirt or whatever. This is where, think of that one thing your whole life, one thing that you always said you would do, and then life started lifing. Hear me, warriors. Life started lifing. We got married. We had children. We have mortgage. We have 9-to-5 job that turns into 80 hours a week. And I want you to know that's okay, because that one thing stays with you because it's your calling. And higher power's timing is perfect. You're not behind. You're not late. You can start exactly where you are. And thank you both. Both of those books hit the bestseller list, and the Warrior Mom Journal hit #1. And that is why I'm wearing this necklace. And I am so blessed to have an amazing team. Success never happens in a vacuum. Now, you guys, sometimes I am hesitant to share what's going on that's not so pleasant. And a few days before Christmas, we found out that our autism therapy dog, who's 14, they just basically sent him home to die. And it was not pleasant, you guys. I mean, I wept for an entire 24 hours. And then I said, hey, I'm the warrior mom. And I said, who says what's the workaround? And you know what we did? We got on those holistic pet sites and we found the right supplements. And this dog is feeling better than he has in probably 2 years. So here's our 2 autism therapy dogs. They are Cavachons. We've got Jada, who's 8, and Dakota, who's 14. And I want you to know, if my son is into something in the other room, those dogs come and get me. It's kind of like Lassie in the vintage, series back in the day. And I love that we can come together and reach out for help, and we can heal our body by what we're consuming. And I love that we don't have to take the standard. That's just old age. Just no big deal. I don't know what you're facing right now, but no matter how you feel, there's always a workaround. Okay, great to see you guys. I'm so glad you're here. We have Trinidad, Caribbean in the house. We also have Bahamas in the house. Great to see you guys. And I know everything happens for a reason. This summer was probably the most challenging journey as the warrior mom ever. My son was in the throes of puberty. And let me tell you what, puberty and autism, a lot like rocket fuel and a blowtorch. And I say that with the love of a mother. Not pleasant. And we finally found the right medication for him. It's a simple nose spray. And if you guys want to know what this is, this has given me my son back. I mean, this is the first time in his 17 years of life I've ever sat down and said, okay, what about inpatient institution? And I didn't want to do it, but he had become so aggressive and so violent and so unhappy that I didn't have a choice. And that I love it, because when we get to the end of what we feel like we can fix, that's when God shows up. And that's a little bit of what we're going to talk about. And in the midst of all this challenge and all this trial in this season of pure purgatory, I realized at the last minute I had signed up for an event that talked about TEDx talks and how to get paid for speaking. And in the midst of this event that I wasn't super nuts about, I met some amazing, amazing women. And that's who we're going to bring on tonight. So please let me know in the chat where you're chiming in from. If you threw a dart at the US, I'm right in the middle. And you just throw it, right in the middle. Hey guys, great to see you. Tracy, she went to the event too. And I'm so glad you're here. And our guest is amazing. I'm not going to steal her thunder. So hang tight. We're going to bring her on real quick. Hey, Rachelle, did you make the live?
I did. Thank you, Bren, for having me. I'm so glad to be here.
I am so glad you are here. And it really means a lot because I know your time is valuable and you're wearing a lot of hats. Can you tell us a little bit, who is Rachelle Suzanne, and what you want to share with our Warrior Nation tribe tonight?
Yes, thank you. I'm Rachelle Suzanne King, and I was born and raised in Ohio. I was raised by 5 different families. I went through foster care, adoptions, 2 disrupted adoptions. So needless to say, I was the child that it felt like nobody wanted. And what that bore in me was a people-pleasing spirit, that I wanted to love people that didn't feel loved. It bore a lot of empathy in me. So let's fast forward. I now was married for 20 years, and I had 3 beautiful children who are now adults, 23, 21, and almost 18. And that marriage ended after 20 years in 2018. And I just kind of got started in this journey to try to figure out, okay, what in the world? Like, what is going on? In 2018, it felt like the Lord just showed me this spirit of narcissism. And I was like, the last person I wanted to hear about that. I believe my motto all through life was people deserve love the most. People need love the most when they deserve it the least. So I felt like my life's call was to love the unlovable because I believed I was unlovable.
Wow.
So full circle, I have been on a journey since 2018, especially since 2022, when the Lord started really speaking to me, and he prompted me to go online and share my story, which I was just so embarrassed to do that because I thought, you don't air your dirty laundry out. You don't talk bad about people. And I still didn't see my ex-husband as a bad person. I just saw these personality traits that were not healthy for us. And I wanted my children to be in a better environment. And so anyway, all this to say, when God tells you to do something and you do it, he breathes on it. And I had over 2,000 women come to my page the next 2 weeks begging me to talk about my story. And so I cried probably the whole summer, to be honest. I just was like, Lord, this is the worst thing I could ever do. I want to talk about generous giving. I like to make Excel charts. I like to do productivity things. I like to write songs and sing. I don't want to tell people to leave their marriages. This is not for me. But I just one day at a time, he guided me through it. And he just told me to validate women. I don't have to tell them what to do. They just need validation, and they need to know that he sees them and that they're not alone, and that he wanted to use my life to show them that he sees them, he hears them, and they're not alone. And so that's kind of what started my journey.
That's beautiful. Warriors, did you catch that? You are seen, you are heard, and you are valuable. And when we share our story, we help the people we're called to help.
Yeah.
And I just want to say thank you for sharing your story. I am blown away with what you're doing online. It is so, so, so good. And before we leave tonight, you guys, we'll put her socials on here. Can you give us a quick explanation of how your life changed once you said yes to sharing your story?
Oh, well, honestly, like I said, you've always heard people, well, I have heard people say, if I'm a Christian and God calls me to Africa, what if I don't want to be in Africa? And that always makes me laugh, because I would be like, well, God loves you. He knows the desires of your heart. He's not going to call you to do something you don't want to do. And ironically, I've always wanted to go to Africa and be missionary my entire life. And so here I feel like I was eating my words, because I'm being called to speak about my marriage, which was so private. And I always said, if there was ever a woman who would be the last woman standing married to a man who treated her wrong, it would be me. because
Mm,
I believed that was my faith. I believed that's what pleased God. I believed that that's what I was supposed to do, to be sanctified by those hard times.
mm.
So basically, when I said yes to God and I witnessed him bringing people to me, it was so unexpected. I couldn't help but surrender. Like I couldn't help but say, okay, God, lead me, show me what to do, what to say, where to go, because this is way out of my comfort zone.
Oh,
This is not what I even believe in telling people. And I was so dependent on him. So it created a dependency on him rather than what I thought was what I needed to do, if that makes any sense.
oh, beautifully said. Beautifully said. And here us warriors, we're walking out these callings. We're not called to be liked. We're called to be light. And light by its very nature makes darkness very uncomfortable.
Mhm.
And in the midst of all these things that life brings, I just want to show you guys this because I really, I don't know if you felt the same way, Rachelle. I wasn't nuts about the event that we went to, but the women that I
Oh,
connected with were amazing. So here you guys go. Here's our big event. You can see us hanging out with a bunch of 1% women. And I am so blessed to have met you at this event because I relate so much with your story. And obviously, thousands of other women do. And if you're just joining us, please let us know in the comments where you're chiming in from. We're in Oklahoma. If you threw a dart at the US, we're right in the middle. And we know that together we truly, truly are stronger. Now, once you said yes in 2022 to share this story that you were very uncomfortable sharing, what are two ways that your daily life changed or evolved after you said yes?
yeah. Well, I think again, just being dependent on the Lord and asking him over and over. I was weeping in my closet so many times on my
Mm,
knees saying, God, like, because what's interesting is that it wasn't just my story. Once I shared my story, I started noticing a epidemic, like within the last few years in my space, epidemic amount of women like are coming out and sharing their stories at the same time. So when I saw that, I realized, oh, I'm just a part of a bigger movement that he's
mhm,
doing right now. Like it's not all on my shoulders. So again, it was just surrendering to him and being dependent on him in a way that I had kind of lost track of, because I had grieved for 4 years after I left my marriage. I had hidden secret. I didn't want anybody to know.
mhm,
And I was ashamed and embarrassed. And, I knew I had done everything I could possibly do to keep that in that marriage. And I knew that God had told me when it was time to leave. He supernaturally moved me away from that situation. There's no doubt, but I still stayed in shame because I guess I felt like the church still hadn't talked about it. The culture hadn't talked about it. And my agenda was just to protect my children and get them through college. I just was like, die to myself. It doesn't matter okay, I made a bad choice. This is where I'm at and my life is over, but now my kids. And that's so sad that I thought that, but that's what I really thought. And so it was just a move of God. It was truly a move of God. He said, tell your story. You have nothing to lose, just
mm.
do it. And so I did. And he just opened up the floodgates. So surrendering to him. And then number two, I found my humor. Like I didn't know that I was funny. I got my joy back. I was praying for joy, and joy is a fruit of the spirit. And I would literally tell God, okay, God, the Bible says that this is a fruit of the spirit. And I have these other ones, but I am not having joy. Like, how do I get
Right.
joy? Right. And so it was really funny because the vision he gave me, this is back in 2022, was to start to, how the trends on Instagram were to make the funny reels where you would like lip sync other people talking. So the only reason I got Instagram was to make sure my daughter was safe because she was going viral and I wanted to protect her. She was a teenager.
Yeah.
I thought Instagram was the worst thing ever. I didn't want it in our family. And so I just got on to protect her. Well, the Lord showed me this is a tool that he could use to reach the women at night who are scrolling in their
Yeah.
beds, miserable. And so he just led me to, and in a minute, I saw this whole thing. I want you to go make these reels, make these funny skits and grab their attention and then tell the story in the caption below.
Oh,
And so I just was so out of my comfort zone, but it ended up being so fun. And I look back at those reels and I know how hard it was to do them, but you would never know. Like I look so comfortable, And so I love that I have that because it's like a mark of my obedience. And it's also what God used to really set a lot of women free. I got so many messages from women from those reels that were waking up and realizing they weren't alone. And so that was the power of Instagram. That was the power of obedience, was to bring everybody, that needed to be there to see that they're not alone.
Oh, I'm getting chills. And you guys check those out because we'll put her socials in the chat when we're finished.
Yeah, and I will say the reels, I hashtagged them uncherished no more. So if you just do hashtag uncherished no more, you'll see the series. Because you know how they get down in your thing.
Yeah.
That's how you can pull them all back up.
Oh, that's great. And guys, we will put that in when we repost this as a reel. We'll put that in the comments. We're going to switch gears just a little bit. And I talked earlier about the books that I wrote this year, and because of the team that's surrounding me, we hit bestseller on both of them. And you were so kind when I said, hey, we're 3 close to bestseller. Will you pick up this journal, the Warrior Mom Journal, Volume 1? Can you talk, without too much of a spoiler alert, can you share some of your takeaways from the Warrior Mom Journal?
Yeah, I was just going to say, it was so great. I'm so glad I bought it. And I was telling Bren earlier, I just bought it to support her. I got her message and I was like, I will support her. And so I got the journal and it just kind of sat in my little nook in my room. And then I just had some really, really hard times where I'm going through a lot and I was grieving. And I just saw that and I thought, you know what? I crawled over across my carpet and I just sat on the floor with my back against the wall crying. And I opened the journal, not knowing what was going to be in it. And I was so blessed because she just put everything in bite-sized pieces. And it was so calming and so affirmative and encouraging. And it was just great. So I just, for a couple of days in a row, it was doable. I didn't feel overwhelmed. I didn't feel judged. I just felt completely enveloped in this piece of just like, oh, another mom gets this. And it was just so beautiful. So it was just great.
Thank you. Thank you. Mm-hmm. That was our mission all along. And like you said, it feels very vulnerable to share our story. But when we can take theory to application and not overwhelm other moms, to me, that's the magic.
And I like how you give just one bite-sized action. You say, okay, just this is what you're going to do. And I remember when I got to, and I don't give too much away, but when I got to one of your actions, your call to actions, about what's up and what's down, that chapter, it reminded me of a childhood game that we played with my kids when they were little. We would teach them, we would say, let's tell a story. And then they would tell a story and everyone would add something. And then we would say, oh my goodness, I just lost the word. I lost the word, but it wasn't up and down. It was another word. But we would say, the other person would say, like, Bob put his belt on, right?
Uh-huh.
And we'd say, oh, unfortunately, the belt broke. And then the next kid had to say, well, fortunately, Bob had another belt. And so we were training their brains to cognitively realize how to come back up from adversity. And so that reminded me of that. And I'd completely forgotten about that.
Yay. Oh my gosh, the angels are singing.
Yeah, the game's called Fortunately, Unfortunately. And I don't know where we got it from, but we played it when our kids were little and it just got right back up. And I was like, I should play Fortunately, Unfortunately.
Oh, that's beautiful. And I've never heard of that. And I love it. It's
just cognitive, right? If you just get your brain back on, okay, well, today my dog was not doing great, but fortunately we found a way to do this. So it's just really good for our brains.
Oh, it's so powerful because when we focus on our own lane and we control what we can control, that eliminates that helpless or powerless or overwhelmedness that we feel as moms and as partners of narcissistic love. Yeah.
Yes.
That's really, really powerful.
And I will say one thing, Bren, if it's okay, I just have to say, I still don't like talking about narcissism. Anybody that sees this, I want you to know, I am not a man hater. I am not a label maker. I don't like it. We say the word because, just like a diagnosis of a disease, you're just putting things in a category, but that doesn't mean that it's the end all be all for everybody. And so I still really don't like it. But one thing that I think is really important, it's one of the messages I want to get out eventually, is that trauma, my son and I have gone through a lot of trauma also. And trauma, especially in teens and young adults, can display as narcissistic characteristics and narcissistic traits, but it doesn't mean that that person is narcissistic. And so I just want to say that I'm learning that one of the things the culture is doing is villainizing everybody that has these traits. And yes, I think there are evil spirits. I think there are demonic spirits that are at play. The world is completely unleashed a lot. I understand that. But I just want people that come to my page or hear your page or whatever to realize that we're just trying to make sense of what is hard to make sense of, and not to really get focused on the label, but just more on the behaviors and the symptoms. And really what my mission is, and what yours is with the Warrior Journal as well, is how can you calm yourself down in the situation? How can you get grounded, and how can you get stable no matter what's happening with the medical world or your child or narcissism or your partners? It really has been life transforming for me to finally understand how to live from the inside out.
Whew. Did you hear that, warriors? When we finally understand how to live from the inside out, when we are regulated, people around us become regulated.
Yes. And we can hold our boundaries better too when we're regulated.
Yeah.
Like that desire for me to love the unlovable is what I have now realized has allowed me to be in these relationships, to be taken advantage of, to be abused, because I keep believing the best in people that really don't have the integrity or character to be in a healthy relationship. And so I finally have had to learn that through lots of regulation of myself.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is so well said. And my understanding is you have a challenge coming up and the deadline's approaching. Can you share with our Warrior Nation tribe a little bit about that?
Yes, thank you. So I have created with the Lord a 31 days to clarity and healing. It's an email experience. And so what you do is you just get one email a day, and it takes 5 to 10 minutes at the most. I read the emails to you. You can read them yourself. There's handouts and PDFs and all kinds of goodies in there. And there's a weekly call with me and other women as well. And so I basically I just put this together because I wanted women to be able to get rid of all the noise. Like when you're studying narcissism, when you're trying to figure out what's happening to you and how to get out of it, the algorithm really latches onto that, and it just sends you more noise, just constant noise. And I think we don't need more awareness at this point. We need strategy. We need tactical, practical strategy to get out. And so what I felt like the Lord showed me to do is to hold your hand and to really guide you through one step at a time. What's ironic is I did this without even realizing so many similarities in how you have the same type of framework to help people one step at a time. And so that's just so beautiful how God had us meet. Again, he's just working all things together for the good of those who love him, and to save people who are hurting, and to see that they're seen. But anyway, so that's what that is. So 31 days, if you go to RachelleSuzanne.com/31 days, that's where people can sign up. They can read all about it. They can see what each module is about. And so it's just a really neat way to get out of survival mode and get into grounded clarity in community. I keep it capped at about 25 people right now at a time each month. I'm doing the cohort in January. I'm going to skip February and do March again, because I don't want anybody getting lost right now. I want to make sure that you are seen, you are heard, you are loved, and you are cared for. And so I want to shepherd the people that I have really well. And so it's a really small, tight group of women who are trying to heal.
Oh, that's beautiful. And if you guys want to join her Facebook group, I'm going to put that in the chat now.
Awesome. Thank you.
And I want you to make sure that you get plugged in, because together we truly are stronger.
Yes. And when you join the Facebook group, if you could please answer the question where you are in your relationship, that really helps me know how to help you the best. There are a lot of women who are struggling with being in a relationship, getting stuck, not able to come out of it. And some people that are trying to heal and not date into that again. So I've kind of identified 5 stages. So if you can pick the stage you're in, if nothing else, that really helps me know how to help you the best in the group.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much, Rachelle.
Thank you.
Your time is valuable, and we really appreciate you.
Well, I appreciate you and what you're doing, just sharing so much light. So thank you. You're such an encouragement, Bren. I appreciate you so much.
Oh, the feeling is very mutual. Be blessed.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye, ladies.
Hey, guys, please check out Rachelle Suzanne King on Facebook, at Rachelle Suzanne on 76 on Instagram, and we will put all of that in the comments when we repost the reel. And I want you to hear me. I don't write a best-selling book or two in a vacuum. Rachelle didn't come up with what she's been led to share all by herself. And we are firm believers that a relationship with the Almighty is really key, because you are called for such a time as this. And you are called to help the people you are called to help. And if we stay silent because, all hell is breaking loose in our home, that's straight from the enemy. And I want you to know, we see you, we hear you, you are valuable, and you are not alone. And please check out Rachelle's page, check out her group in the comments. And I want you to believe that together we truly are stronger. I'm Bren Harris, the Warrior Mom, with the Warrior Nation, your source for truth, transparency, and trust. Warriors unite.